right, thank you, Gilmer cheerleaders. Welcome back to the show. And what a matchup way over in East Texas. Three-time champion Carthage taking on a team on the rise in Class 4A. That, of course, the Jacksonville Indians. How would Carthage look without all those great players like Anthony Morgan? I'm going to say pretty good. They put it to Jacksonville tonight, 43-12, your final score. A couple 4A scores I want to show you real quick. White House, Corsicana, wow, 54-28. Corsicana leading White House. Hallsville leading Pleasant Grove. 34-3 in that one. All right, let's get to Class 3A now, the most competitive class, no doubt about it, in East Texas this year. We start with the top-ranked team in the state, the Chapel Hill Bulldogs, at Westwood tonight, and we all know Chapel Hill very hungry for another trip to the state tournament, to prove, state championship game, to prove they were the best team a year ago. But it's 2011 now, and that's Avery Signs on his game to the other Avery, Avery Henderson. What a way to start the game off, 7-0 Bulldogs with the lead. More Avery Signs. This guy hasn't skipped a beat since a year ago. This time showing the touch, and Nelson Onwuzuu with the diving catch for the touchdown. Way to go, number 5. 14-0, but Avery Signs not even close to being done yet. And folks, this is all happening in the first half down at Westwood. So we're going to get another highlight here. Coach Sitton looking on and liking what he sees. As let's go ahead and get that foul. Here it comes right here. Signs in the second quarter now to Avery Henderson again. Get out of the way, other cameraman there. That's actually Nelson Onwuzuu. 5 first-half touchdowns at last check, and look at the score. Not a basketball game. That's football, folks. 74-23. Number 1, Chapel Hill looking strong. And Clint Buckley, who is all over this program, covers them from top to bottom. Clint, 74 points. We knew they would win tonight. Did you think it would be this bad?
I really didn't. I thought that there'd be some sluggish moments on offense, but Avery Signs 7 touchdowns tonight. He threw 6 in the opener last year, and he topped it by a touchdown tonight. 395 yards. Everything was working offensively. They turned it over on their first drive of the game, believe it or not. But after that, it was smooth sailing for the offense.
Clint, when you've got such a talented team like Coach Sitton has right there, you've got all these weapons. They're seniors now. They're hungry after getting beat by Henderson in the finals last year. Are they just kind of motivating themselves this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think what happened to them against Henderson in the state championship game, that's the ultimate motivator. They don't really need anything other than that. And Coach Sitton did say after the game that he was a little disappointed in the way the team came out, not really playing at 100%, but he was real proud of the way they picked it up in the second half, and he's glad that they ended strong.
Well, 74 points, Clint. I think Coach Sitton's going to sleep okay tonight. Great job there, man. We will be careful getting back. We'll see you next Friday. All right, let's go over to Spring Hill next. The Lindale Eagles in town. Love this all East Texas matchup. And as we get to Spring Hill Panther Stadium, first play of the game, I kid you not, Clay Price on the zone read, as my man Bradford Royal calls it. He's our coach here in the studio. He zone read it very well. 76-yard touchdown for Clay Price. First play of the game, 7-0 Eagles. Now Landry Lee trying to get Spring Hill going here, rolling out to his left. Josiah Johnson, one of the better athletes in all of East Texas, comes down with the pick. He wasn't done yet. How about the running back situation? It's going to be DeMarcus Lynch. Little Emmett, we're calling him. Number 22, fighting his way in for the touchdown, 14-0. Clay Price going to work his magic again. The band, of course, fired up, as always, for the Lindale Eagles. Price going to hit that guy, Josiah Johnson, right in the living room right here. Great pass and catch, gets out of bounds. First down for the Lindale Eagles. And then Clay Price, maybe this year's version of John Risman, doing so well on that zone read. Another touchdown, 43 yards. 21-0. Now, Spring Hill would respond. Landry Lee to Trevor Caladara. There he is, 33 for the touchdown. But, hey, look at Lindale tonight, getting it done on the road, 56-7. They take it. All right, let's go up the road on 271. We got Union Grove taking on Beckville tonight, and Glenn Johnson Stadium. That's going to be Big Jarvis Walls for the Beckville Lions, getting in there for a nice touchdown, 6-0. Now, on the extra point, keep your eye on the holder here. Colton Allen faking out everybody, and Beckville gets in for the 2-point conversion. That would make it 8-0. More Beckville offense. Hunter Gibson going to run and keep on running right through Union Grove here, but He gets taken down, and Beckville did not score on the drive, so they're trying to get back into this one, and it's going to be in the second quarter. Obviously, it's past that, but we'll get an update for you on that one. 8-0 last check for Beckville. 3A scores, Mount Pleasant. No match for Henderson, defending state champs. We're going to talk about them in just a second with Chase Colson, 47-28. Last night, Gilmore, of course, won 42-21. Athens, big things expected of them this year, but they're trailing by 2 to Nolan Catholic, 36-34. We got Bullard winning tonight. How about them Bullard Panthers? They get it done 50-6. Center and Rusk going at it tonight, 33-30. Way to go, Rough Riders. Mineola looking very sharp. Mr. Whitney tweeting all night long about the Mineola Yellow Jackets. They win. Palestine beats Brownsboro 54-6. Pittsburgh over Jefferson 42-0. Maybank 27-10 over Wills Point. And there's Van and Grand Saline. Great rivalry game there, but Van gets it this year 50-6. We'll talk to Kurt Kitchens about that game coming up. All right, now time for the producer of the etfinalscore.com website. He runs the ship over at the Tyler Paper. Chase Colson's with us, and of course we're talking about that 74 points that Chapel Hill put up. We just heard from Clint Buckley. What about the Henderson game? These two are going to be linked together all year long. Pretty good game there on the road at Mount Pleasant, but they get it done.
Well, that's right, Eric. Henderson just showed that they can score a lot of points, and last year a lot of it was done by their defense, and they gave up a lot of yards tonight, but they did force 5 turnovers and even scored on 2 defensive plays. But big teller was that Dale Barnes only completed 10 passes. His receivers dropped 7, but he still threw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, and Henderson showed they're going to be able to score a lot of points on people this year, and it's going to make things very interesting as the season goes on.
Chase, we, of course, know how great the 3A districts are here in East Texas. We've seen that tonight. I kind of like what I saw from Lindale there, going to Spring Hill and putting it to them pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. With that offensive line that Lindale's got that's just monstrous with Micah Simmons and Sam Schomp and Clay Price back there at quarterback, they're going to, they took that loss to Henderson very personally, blowing that first half lead. And, they've got a big chip on their shoulders. They go on, and I look for them to make some noise and get back to that game with Henderson as the season goes on.
Okay, Chase, once you get back to cracking scores and getting them on the web and etfinalscore.com, we'll check back with you here in just a minute. Okay, buddy?
All right, thanks, Eric.
All right, thanks, Chase. All right, break time right now. We'll be right back. Up next, highlights of the small schools. Van, Overton, Cayuga, All Saints. Don't go anywhere.